And welcome to Tuesday Night Live here at Reach On Air.
Chris Reardon, Tuesday night, Reach On Air.
All right, back to 2 hours tonight. I thought it was wonderful to have Ross last week doing the first hour of the show here on Reach On Air and me coming along later. I did ask if he wanted to split the night. So he always does the first hour and I always do the second hour, but he said no. So now and again, you'll get that. All right, you lovely people? Well, the weather's turned a bit, hasn't it? I mean, it wasn't cold today, but dark and dreary all day long, which of course means I can't get so much sunlight down on my solar panels and my battery isn't really filling up at all at the moment. I've discovered that there are a range on Octopus, which is one of the energy providers, Octopus. And with them, you can charge your battery, because I've got a couple of really expensive batteries here. And if you're thinking you're going to break into the house and nick them, don't even try. You'll need about 3 people to lift one of them. They are so heavy, I can't tell you. You can actually charge up at a very cheap rate. I think it's something like 15 pence a kilowatt hour. And I think generally the price at the moment of a kilowatt hour, if I remember rightly, is about 33 pence. So it's about half the price. You can charge it fully in a 3-hour time period each night. I mean, which would be worth doing because the batteries would easily do me the whole day. And if you weren't quite sure whether they would, you could put on like washing machines and all that business doing that cheap right. A little bit like Economy 7. Do you remember Economy 7? When we had we didn't, but we had electric heaters, and you could with your storage heaters store up the electricity during the cheap Economy 7 rate period, which was generally in the middle of the night somewhere, wasn't it? And then let the heat out during the daytime. I mean, the whole industry grew up around that, really. That economy, or you had all these people making these storage heaters and things like that. The trouble, and you try and do your washing and everything else at that time of night in Economy 7. The problem was, of course, during the daytime, it was much more expensive. So instead of having 24 hours at, I don't know, 10 pence, you'd have 4 hours at like 5 pence, and then the rest of the day at like 50 pence. So if you mucked up and I needed to do that washing, and then it would cost you a lot more to do. So very similar to the Economy 7 thing on there. All right. So that's that. Now, if you're with us on Reach On Air or on TikTok, you'll get normal music. Okay. If you're on YouTube or Facebook Live, you'll get the usual substitute music, and I can't give you normal music on there because of copyright restrictions, but you will be missing out tonight because on Reach On Air this evening I have lots of tracks ready to play for you. Now, we never usually get more than sort of 4 or 5, but here's what I've got lined up, and you might get them, you might not. Pitbull featuring Nile Rodgers, Freak 54, which is brand new, and it's a play on, Le Freak. Le Freak, dun, 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 excellent, by Chic, of course. We're going to have a bit of Dusty today on Reach On Air. Yes, we are. I don't care. Dusty. And the reason we're having Dusty today, because when I was doing my swimming this morning, it came on the speakers, and I burst out into the song at the great amusement of the staff in there. You don't have to say you love me, Dusty. Spring on. You don't have to say you love me, just be close at hand. Proper gay song, that is. It's like gay music. I always remember when I was DJing, right? Stupid people. You'd be in the middle of a house set. What's a house set? Stuff like Insomnia, Faithless, Brothers in Rhythm, Such a Good Feeling, Dreamer, Live in Joy. And someone would come out and say, have you got any more gay music? And I'm like, what do you mean gay music? Oh, well, have you got Shirley Bassey, I Am What I Am? Well, I have, but it doesn't really fit in, does it? This is one of the reasons I don't take requests in the morning for my music and chat show. I try to keep it fairly upbeat and dancey. I don't want anyone falling asleep, like some of them on here, playing depressing songs at that time of the morning. I don't want anyone falling asleep, so I try and keep it fairly upbeat. And the reason I don't do requests is because you can guarantee. So, have you got any Doris Day? Now, don't get me wrong, I quite like Doris Day. My mum liked Doris Day. I like all those old singers. Vera Lynn, Barry Manilow, still with us, of course. All those people I like. Does it fit in the morning? Well, not really. And there's a couple of Barry Manilow ones you can get away with. Who's been sleeping in my bed? Answer to that is no one in the last 5 or 6 years, unfortunately. What about you, Dan Woodhouse? Are you with us today? Anyone been sleeping in your bed in the last 5 years? 10? 15? 20? 30? Oh. Oh, well, not to worry. Because, of course, we discovered this morning that Dan Woodhouse, one of our regular viewers, and sometimes he phones in as well, is actually asexual. Did you know that? Asexual. That's Dan Woodhouse. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. An asexual plant, basically, is a plant that it doesn't need pollinating. It kind of does it with itself. Do you see where I'm going with that? You know, Dan Woodhouse, like the Deadwood stage. Do you remember that? Oh, the Deadwood stage. Da, 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 da. You see, and if I said, is anyone like a request this morning? I guarantee, in the middle of playing all that dance music and plus a little bit of ABBA and a little bit of soul, in the middle of all that, someone would ask for the Deadwood stage. And I think, well, that doesn't really fit in, does it? So that's the reason I don't do requests in the morning. And also why, as I say, when I was DJing, my big DJ time was sort of in the 90s. And in the middle of a house set or even a pop set, you know, if you're doing upbeat pop music like Rick Astley, Donna Summer, Earth, Wind and Fire, if you're doing upbeat pop music, you can't suddenly throw in Shirley Bassey, I Am What I Am, can you? Or, indeed, Dusty Springfield's You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, but we will be playing that tonight. I guarantee here at Reach On Air, you get a bit Dusty Springfield tonight. I've got a new song from a bloke called Reductio. I've mentioned him a couple of times on this channel, and he is an organist. He's an organist, and he's very much, his whole life is music. He's only young. I would say he's about 22, 23, and he's a really good organist. And I bought his first CD, actually, which was like a download, not a CD, like a download. And I sent him a message. He said, thanks for buying the music. That's all right. I sent him a message. I said, if I ever get married or die, whichever is the thing to happen first, I want you to play at that. And I really would. He's really good. He's not slow. Sometimes you hear some of these organists, oh, my Lord. I mean, it's awful. It's so slow and dragging. Come on, pick it up a bit. God doesn't want to be listening up there to slow music and fall. Come on. I bet he sits up there sometimes when you have these slow organists and terribly slow singers. You see, it's not their fault. In their minds, they're being respectful. They think they're being respectable by singing and doing it like that. And I'm like, oh, pick it up for God's sake. You know, he must be falling asleep up there. That's why there's so much trouble in the world. You know, because of slow organists in churches and cathedrals and terribly slow singers and choirs. And he's like, oh, God. And then he falls asleep and then something other terrible happens to the world again, doesn't it? You know. Every time something terrible happens, someone's singing badly in a church and God has fallen asleep again. That's what's happening there. It doesn't fall asleep during my show. Anyway, Reductio, he's an organist, and he also makes dance music. And I'm going to play you his latest track, which is a thing on some Mozart, Symphony Number 40 in G minor. That'll be happening on Reach On Air today and on TikTok, not on YouTube or on Facebook Live, okay? We got a new version of Please Don't Go, KWS, George Benson, Lady, Love Me One More Time. You love it, don't you? In Your Day, Nasty Girl. I don't think we'll get any further than that, but if we do, we'll have some Dua Lipa, Don't Start Now, and the Pussycat Dolls. Hush, hush, hush. Hush, hush, hush. So that's what's happening on the show, music-wise, here at Reach On Air and on TikTok tonight. Going through the papers, some little bits of news and things to talk about, and we've got some stuff to discuss. Phone line will be open a little bit later on. But, of course, the papers are totally full of Russel Brand. I mean, on and on. And this is what I've said so many times before with the media. You know, recently we had the constant going on about trans issues. Before that, we had something else. And then before that, something else. We had the Hugh Edwards scandal. And on and on and on. Basically about someone's private life, which is nothing to do with me or you. And you open the paper. I mean, I don't buy a paper. I get all my news, probably like yourselves, online, like the Daily Mail. I like the Daily Mail. Some people don't like the Daily Mail. That's fair enough. I like it. I like bits of the Sun, not always. The Star, Daily Star's all right for a bit of a laugh. And that's a bit of a lad's paper, isn't it, really? You know, the breasts are all out over the place, including mine, actually. You know, I did send them a little picture of myself with my breasts out. They have yet to decide to publish that one, unfortunately. And the Metro, I look into the Metro as well, and the Mirror and the Express. So you get a broad range of different thoughts on things. You can't just read right-wing newspapers or left-wing newspapers because you'll never get the full sort of complement of everything. It's all very well me picking up the blooming Guardian. I mean, I really don't touch the Guardian, but sometimes you'll get a decent story in there about climate change or something like that, which I find fascinating. But you've got to read them of everything. All right? Okay? But at the moment, opening the paper, and it's Russel Brand this. Russel Brand, let's just pull it up now, actually. Let's have a quick look at the front page of the Daily Mail, and I bet they're still going on about it now. Here we go. He is vulgar and offensive, but is not a monster. Russel Brand's close friends defend him. Channel 4 and BBC remove Russel Brand shows, including QI, Bake Off and Joe Wicks. Spotify says it has no plans to remove Russel Brand's content. Oh, I didn't know. Does he do music as well? You see, I'm not a fan. I'm really not a fan. I have no interest in his career or life whatsoever. I just think he's a loud-mouthed, ugly, horrible man. I've always thought that. And all these stories are of no interest to me at all. Council launches probe into security fencing erected outside Russel Brand's village pub. Moment Russel Brand. This is all in one paper. Front page on the moment Russel Brand jokes about begging for threesomes. What else? What really happened between Russel Brand and Catherine Ryan? No idea who that is. And on and on and on. And this is what the blooming media does now, whether it's the newspapers or the televisions, anything like that. They find a story and they go on and on and on about it. And I know it was on Monday this week in my little show that I do every morning that I love doing here at Reach On Air, 9 till 10 every morning. Monday to Friday, anyway. I usually open with some sort of comment. I'll try and find something in the news and perhaps put a little comic, a little bit of comedy on it if I can. You know, I can't always do it. And Monday, I was really struggling to find something in all this. I've forgotten his name again. Russel Brand stuff. You know, because I couldn't really pull anything out of that and find any amusement in it because he just doesn't interest me. And I bet there's a lot of people here watching the show, possibly billions. There's billions of people watching this show, boys and girls. I know, it may look to you, the little number at the top there might say 15. That is in billion. You do know that, don't you? It's not just 15. They don't put the word billion on there because it's embarrassing to other YouTube channels and TikTok channels and radio stations. It's embarrassing to them that they don't get anywhere near as many viewers as me. And that is an actual fact. It's all very well looking at the bottom of someone's little thing and it says 22k. And I look at that and I think, oh, 22,000. Do me a favour. Now, with the live stuff, you know, you only get the 2 digits up there, and you add on billions to that number. So probably at the moment there's about 15 billion people watching this programme at the moment, I would imagine. Various platforms. So Russel Brand, nah, not interested. And I think most of you aren't interested as well. Give us some decent news on the telly. It doesn't all have to be happy. We do like a bit of happy news. You know, there are certain people in this world who I know who constantly come up with depressing news. Sometimes you see them in chat boxes. They're usually the same people who can't wait to come on there in the chat box and tell us about their latest illness, disability, whatever it is. You'll be doing stories and all these things. And someone will, oh, I've got this. Well, and where did that come from? It's just people constantly going on about their mishaps. Try and be a little bit happier in your lives, a little bit more positive, and you might get somewhere. I'm sorry if you've got this or you're having this trouble or you're having that trouble, but perhaps, you want to talk among your friends rather than everyone else, trying to get a little bit of sympathy from people. We had them on air over the years. Some who I have to say, I'm very sorry to say, have died. And they did have things wrong with them. But, I just think there's places to talk about that sort of thing, really. Anyway, so that's that. Viewers to the show will be very pleased to note that the clock is back. The big clock with the date. Doesn't always work. Sometimes the date gets stuck on it. So I'm going to try and get it into my head to check the clock every morning before I start. To check that it's got the right date on it, all right? So fingers crossed for that, okay? And talking of YouTube and all that sort of thing, I've got to be up really early on Friday morning this week. My Uncle John in Australia died about 2 weeks ago now. He was a lovely man, really, really nice man. And my Auntie Shirley. Now, not everyone got on with Auntie Shirley. I did. She was a proper, churchgoer, and I think maybe that's what swung it. She never mentioned the gay stuff or anything like that, which was fine. I have no problem with that. I don't believe in shoving stuff in people's face all the time. Just be who you are. Be who you are, and that's all you need to do, really. Anyway, Auntie Shirley died some years ago, and now her husband, Uncle John's died, and he was a lovely man, really. But the reason I mentioned him is because the funeral was going to be on YouTube. And it's in Australia, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to have to get up that morning at like 20 to 6. I could watch it in bed, but it just doesn't seem appropriate to watch a funeral in bed. I feel I need to get up and go downstairs, and besides, I've got the big telly downstairs, and pay full attention to what's going on there. I did offer, my cousin said, if anyone wants to send video messages, that would be fine. I said, I don't know if it would work, but I don't mind playing a hymn or two if you want and sending that. I can video it. Because I do a little video of hymns every week for the choir that I stick up on YouTube. You don't see it on this channel, incidentally. On my religious music and hymns channel. And that works okay, but the logistics in a church aren't that. You couldn't really plug in the sound into a mobile phone to hear me playing the organ. It wouldn't work very well, so we can't do that. But yes, and isn't that a wonderful thing we can do with YouTube now? If you can't be at an event like that, or any event really, I'm sure there's people that have taken cameras and perhaps not YouTube, but FaceTimed in to very sick people in hospital who might have only a day or a few hours or a few minutes left to live, and they want to be there with that person. If I was dying, and I couldn't have, for whatever reason, someone with me, I think that would be an excellent. I bet that happened during COVID. People were given a mobile phone, and at their last moments, they had their family or a person that they loved or someone like that on a mobile phone next to them in the bed, which would give some comfort, wouldn't it? But how about that? So my uncle's, getting funeraled. Is that a word? It's my uncle's funeral on Friday. 6 o'clock in the morning is the time over here. I think it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon over there, which is the latest they could do it. And we'll all be able to watch it on YouTube. Isn't it fantastic that you can do that now? Weddings, I'm sure they put weddings on there. Most churches are able to do that. And even if they can't, if the church isn't set up to do that, all you got to do, it's so easy. Borrow a tripod, someone. Get your mobile phone out, turn the ringer off if you're in a church. Make sure you always turn the ringer on silent. Set it up, click go, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, whatever it is. Put it somewhere where it can see the whole of the sort of goings on in the church, which in the case of a funeral would be the altar, and just leave it there, and people can watch and join in. Isn't it fantastic how we can do that now? really. My cousin did ask, it would be great if you could come over and play the organ, which I would have done. But the plane prices now to go to Australia and it's a long flight. You really don't want to be sitting in economy with your knees up someone else's arse in front of you for a 24-hour flight. Very painful. So I used to save up. I've been 5 times. Not recently. I've been 5 times over there, right? But the plane ticket in the club class is now £7,000 return. Well, that's out of my budget, I'm afraid. Can't see me going there again. They've really jacked up that price. £7,000 return. And presumably they're selling the tickets because it's been like that for a few months, because I checked way back in January. It's been that for a few months now. So presumably they're selling the tickets, because if they weren't, presumably they would drop the price a little bit. I don't know how it works. That's how it is, isn't it? Anyway, so there we are. That's my bits and pieces so far. The internet all appears to be sorted out now. It's not gone wrong now since Friday. There was an issue on Saturday, but we all got a text message saying there was a network issue. And I've been quite impressed with my Virgin Media engineer, who came first the week before last, and he left me his text number if I had any problems, and I did continue to have problems, and texts went back and forth, and he came once again, and then he went away, and a new cable was laid part of the way back to the green box in the street. That's called a cabinet, incidentally. So he did all that, and text went, it's gone off again. Okay, I'll come round Saturday. He texted me Saturday, really sorry, I can't come round today. They've sent me to another area. Can we make it Monday? By the time we got to Monday, the problems had stopped, really. And so I did my show in the morning to see how that went, and still it was all right. And then I sent him a text saying, look, I think this is all right now. And he sent me a text back saying, okay, let me know if you have any more problems. And now here we are on Tuesday. So I've got my fingers crossed. There. And I think we're okay now. I'll give it another week, then I'll send him another text. His name is Josh. What a lovely bloke, though, to just give me his text number. Maybe that's what they do now, I don't know. Maybe that's what Virgin Media do now. But yeah, okay, we've had a problem for 10 days, which is the worst I've ever had it. I've always had really good internet from Virgin Media. I know it's not the same for everyone, but then again, you see the same with other companies. My mate's got Sky. He has no problems with that. No problems whatsoever. And then you talk to someone else and they wouldn't touch Sky with a barge pole because of the terrible service and internet that they've had. I know my sister at the moment, I think she's with BT broadband, and she's got a bit of issues there at the moment with the internet's going on and off. It's so annoying. I mean, I'm not being funny. For God's sake, they can do it with the electric now, can't they? How many times is your electricity going off? Answer, since I've been here in about 30 years I've lived here, about 3 times. That's it. 3 times. It just doesn't happen anymore. The internet has now been around, 20 years? Why ain't they got that sussed yet? How can there be so many blooming problems all the time? Dear me. Anyway, right, let's say hello to some of you today. You can join in, as always, gang. Send us a text message on my text number, which I'll give you in a moment. If you want to text in, okay, take the text number down. I'm going to give it to you in a moment. You can send us a message on the Reach On Air message system, which is by far the best way of sending in a message, on the Reach On Air message system. All right? You can send us a message on YouTube or TikTok. Bear in mind, TikTok and YouTube, and now TikTok as well, get very busy with people talking to each other and not me. And sometimes your message will get missed. It's just how it is. It's impossible to go up and down and extract the bits that are for me. If that does keep happening, then just make it easy and send us a text, okay? And the text number is this.
You can send Chris a text message right now on 07451 287 337. 07451 287 337.
Okay, that's the text number. Darren's with us today. Good evening to Darren. Welcome along to the show, Darren. Let's do our roll call. Hello to Gary Ross. Evening, Gary. texting in very nice and early today. Thank you, Gary. You are very kind to this ageing DJ sitting here in front of you tonight. Hello to Jeff. Jeff is a lovely man. Him and his missus, Linda. And they used to own the caravan next to me. Do you remember when we were doing the morning show, which is, that's got to be over 2 years ago now, we were doing the morning show. We used to do a show just like this every morning on YouTube. 9:30 to about 11:30. It kind of got longer and longer as the time went on. And Jeff used to have the caravan next to me. Unfortunately, his lovely wife, Linda, couldn't quite cope with the heat. I remember now, it was a particularly hot summer. And being in a caravan on a really hot sun, actually, it doesn't even need to be hot. If the sun's out, that sun hits the caravan and it gets so hot. And I actually remember your beautiful wife sitting out there on the decking with the door full open, and you can't cool down. There's nowhere to cool down. You can't go in the caravan to get out the sun because it's even hotter in there. The only way to do it is to have aircon put in, and you're looking at, a couple of £1,000 to do that. And the question is, do you want to do that? But they didn't stay very long and they sold up again, much to my disappointment because we got on very well. By the way, Jeff and Linda, did you know Jerry, who was in the caravan behind mine? I don't know if she was actually there when you were there. Did you know Jerry at all? Anyway, Jeff says, hi Chris, long time no see. You're looking well. How are you? Very well, thank you very much. I've got my new jacket on that I got from Marks, discount the other day, a couple of weeks ago when it was my sister's birthday. We went to Springfields, which is like an outlet place, where they sell stuff. It's in Lincolnshire at a place called Spalding. I think it's Spalding. I might have that wrong. Is it Spalding? Anyway, the outlet centre is called Springfields. And she likes to go there for her birthday, and I get her a few bits and pieces, and we have a lovely meal out. This time, great niece Evie came as well, which added to the fun, I have to say. That completely added to the fun. And while I was in Marks, I thought, well, I'll have a look around as well. And I bought a couple of bits for myself this time as well. In fact, I think I spent more on myself than I did on my sister. But that's okay, isn't it? Oh, anyway, Jeff says, we're still plodding on. Have you still got the Chapel Hill studio? Yeah, I'll be up there next week, actually. Next week's show will be coming to you from the the Luxury Waterhouse Media Centre. Thank you. Jeff says, do Emirates fly from London to Sydney? Yes, they do, but they're all around the same price, About £7,000, that's just how it is. Well, that's beyond me, beyond my budget, I think, really. That's way above what I would want to pay for a flight to and from Sydney. We all have like a figure in our minds, don't we, of how much we want to pay for things. A takeaway pizza, for example, I wouldn't pay more than £12 for one of those, maximum. I do afternoon teas. I haven't been for some time now, actually. Claridge's, 5-star hotels, afternoon tea, 80, 90 quid. Yeah, that's worth it to me. When you see the service. Yeah, it's not just... I know some people are that thick. All they can see is a plate of sandwiches. They don't see the decor, the thousands of pounds worth of paintings, the service provided, the bloke playing the piano, the person who opened the door for you, the mate. They don't see any of that. All they can see is the plate of sandwiches. Well, go down to Greg's and have a sandwich down there, or blooming Pret a Manger or McDonald's. If that's your thing, fine. If you can't appreciate anything else, don't go. End of. But to me, that's worth it. A flight to Sydney in Australia, for return, I'd be prepared to pay £4,000, not £7,000. I won't. I just won't go, and that's the end of it. Jeff, do you? Yeah, she passed away. That's right. She was a lovely lady, Jerry. She came from the Arsenal in London. Did you know that? And we used to have a little bit of discussions over the fence about various things putting the world to rights. Yeah, I was sad to see her go. On the occasions I've been back up to the caravan, because I tend to only go once a month now, Jeff. It's just the drive. The drive gets me sometimes, a long drive. And I go once a month now. And since she passed, I haven't seen anyone in that caravan. So I would guess that the lad is going to sell it. Just very sad, though. Lovely lady. Rebecca's there. Hello to Rebecca. She's just got... Excuse me a moment. Rebecca's just got home from a New York 12-hour delay. Oh, my God, blimey. Oh, first class, though. Was not first class staff. Rude. Really? What airline was that then? I'm staying in Manchester Hotel till after the weekend. 12 hours delay. Well, if you were in first class, I'm assuming that they told you about the delay and you didn't go to the airport and hang around for 12 hours. Usually, if you've paid for the club class or first class, I've never been first class, but if you pay for the club class ticket, I know if there's a delay, they ring you and say, hello, there's a 3-hour delay, so you might not want to get to the airport so early. And you say, what time do you want me there? And they just tell you, and that's fine. But then you don't have to hang around at the airport. Nothing worse than hanging around airports, is there? Oh, my God. I remember my first trip ever on a plane, which was to New York. Laker Airways. I was with the Scouts, 1979, on a jamboree. I was 16 years old, and we got a long hour's delay on it, and was sitting on the floor. I think I've got a picture of it somewhere. We were literally just sitting on the floor. Awful, absolutely awful. Anyway, there we go. Let's just pop onto the... Oh, I can't see the YouTube messages for some reason. Oh, there we go. One moment. Let's just scroll up and see where I put my mark on there. Where are we now? It should say start. Where does it say start? Can't find it now. Oh, annoying. I think... that's because I didn't do it. What an idiot. Well, where's 9 o'clock? There's 9 o'clock. Gary Ross, we said hello to... Fran Green's there. Good evening to Fran Green this evening. Evening to you, Fran. Welcome along here. Fran says Russel Brand. She likes Russel Brand. Fran says Russel Brand is okay. It's free speech, it's gone, and he likes to say what he wants. So they dug stuff up from years ago to ruin him. Just saying. And they do that with every... Fran, my personal opinion of it, this to me is like a non-story. This all happened in the past. It's like these people that keep bringing up stuff that happened 200 years ago and then want repatriation money and all this business. Well, you can't move forward anymore. They dig up stuff from the past all the time. And the police, while they're spending so much time on this blooming story, at this moment in time, people are being robbed in the streets. And little businesses are having stuff robbed from them as well. And big businesses as well. They let them walk out the door. Why? Because the police ain't going to come. They're too busy looking into Russel Brand's personal life. Jeez, it just goes on. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? Thank you, Fran. Paul says, so lucky to have fibre optic into the house. I don't have that here. I think it's to the cabinet and then coax all the rest of the way. Rob's there. Good evening to Rob, who says, good evening, Chris. How are you doing? Have you had any huge spiders in your house yet? Oh, yes, I have. Two. One night. And I don't know why, but sometimes when I come into the house... I look for spiders. I do it particularly when I go up to the caravan. Sorry, the luxury. And Jeff, I tell you. Jeff, I bet you had a few spiders in that cold caravan, didn't you? Eh? You get, and when I say huge, they are enormous, these bloody spiders, when they come into the caravan. Big black things they are. Right? Big legs, enormous, the size of your hand. And ever since I spotted one in there, crawling out, I turned on the air conditioning. It was cold. Turned on the air conditioning on heat mode. And when I turned it on, this blooming great big spider crawled from behind it and onto the wall. Out came the Hoover. I'm sorry. Up it went. And then another time I saw one. Oh, I was in the kitchen again in the caravan, and this spider suddenly ran out from underneath the freezer, and I'm looking at it. And it stopped. And it looked at me as if to say, oh, I think I've up. I've up. And it didn't move. And I grabbed it quickly. That's the one that, when I go to the caravan, right, here's my trip to the caravan. I get out the car, put my bags in, turn the lights on, and look for spiders. That's the first thing I do. And the kettle goes on. Every single time. Well, I've started doing it here now as well. I go into the room, have a quick ceilings and corners. That's where you want to look, ceilings and corners. But not the other day. Who asked me this, Rob? Not the other day, Rob. No, dear. I'd come into the house and my stairs here, up. You kind of step on and then it goes up. Step on, get up. Step on, get up. On the go up bits, there was a spider at the bottom. I thought, oh my God. And it was big. It was big. I'm not being funny. Out came the Hoover. That's it. I thought, oh, God, I wonder if there's any more. And as I went up the stairs, there's another one. It looked like its brother. They looked exactly the same. And I'm not being racist by saying that against spiders. They looked exactly the same, these spiders. Just as big. And it was at the top on the up bit. I think one was following the other one. A little bit like when I go to supermarkets, I'm aware that fans are following me all the time. You kind of get a whiff, like a smell of wee coming from some of them, to be honest. I don't know. Don't think some of them bath. But you can see them following and they're trying to get a crafty picture of me as they're walking around the supermarket. Sometimes you feel people brush past and they touch my bottom. Which, of course, if you're a millennial, means you should immediately take that person to court and have them flashed on the front page of the Daily Mail, touched against my will, something like that. I'm fairly happy for people to have a little touch of my bottom, to be honest. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, You carry on. Don't mean you're going to get anywhere else, Just want to point that out, if Dan Woodhouse touched my bottom, nothing would happen. I'd probably say, well, I hope you enjoyed that. But I'm afraid it's not going any further. I wouldn't suddenly throw them on the front page of the News of the World. Not that it's being printed anymore. But you do feel it in supermarkets, especially if I'm like leaning across provocatively, trying to get something from the top shelf in the freezer, because I'm a little bit short. I can't quite reach up there, so I have to lean out. And I think probably when I'm leaning over, I push my buttocks out a little bit. And I suppose it's just too tempting for some people, isn't it? That they want to have a little brush past me and have a feel. I don't mind, it's one of those things. Anyway, let's read some more of these messages. Rebecca says she was on British Airways first. Oh, wow. Oh, she says British Airways staff did not call and food was so bad and top it at the airport exclusive lounge was bad, but staff did not help and did not care. We were delayed because a stupid pilot didn't show up. I was told in Manchester. I'm sorry to hear about that. It's a long journey as well, New York. If you're delayed by 12 hours and then you're on the bleeding plane for another 8, aren't you? Oh, it's a long journey, Rebecca. Well, at least you're home now, darling. Please don't keep going away, or at least when you go in future, can you watch the show from there or listen to the show from there on your smart speaker or mobile phone? Thank you very much. Scrolling down quickly. Paul Adamson just Googled London to Sydney, seeing returns for 1,200, 1,800. What is that? That'd be economy, that will, Paul. I ain't sitting in a seat like that for that journey. Thank you very much. Too far. Hello to Hawaii, who says 66. What does that mean? Are you in China? Welcome along to our Chinese listeners this morning. Welcome along. No, yeah, not fancy car. Yeah, I told you, I ain't flying economy going all that way. Thank you very much. It's too far. It's too far. Right, who else have we got to say hello to today? As I say, I mentioned Dan Woodhouse a couple of times there. Evening to Dan. Good evening to DJ Sparky. Vera from Vera's Choice in the morning in the air. Built in Scotland. Hello to you, sir. Welcome along to you. We've got Dan Woodhouse, who's in bed already. God's sake. Are you doing that? I hope you're not doing that asexual thing while you're watching me, Dan. Don't be doing that, my love. Naughty man. Hello to Itsy Yo Bolly Joey. I love that. I just love your name. Itsy Yo Bolly Jolly. I hope you put the bag in the bin after, always. Vera, were the spiders beating on the drum and holding a voodoo doll, Chris? Is it your fault? Those spiders in the house. Because Vera does voodoo. Vera does voodoo. Don't upset her on the chat box, Vera. Okay? Don't ever upset her. There we go. I think that's all the messages. Jason, can't you go in with the luggage, Chris? No. Don't forget, gang, if you're getting your messages missed out for whatever reason, it just means you're getting lost in the general conversation going on. Feel free to text in on our text number. Here it is again.
You can send Chris a text message right now on 07451 287 337. 07451 287 337.
I'll tell you what, as we've been doing, Spiders, how about we do this little story about phobias? Okay, phobias. Do you have a phobia at all? If you do, why don't you call in and tell me all about it after I've played you a little song. All right, my darlings? Here we are.
Come on and pack a bag and buckle down. Keep it hushed now, come on the ground. Everybody's looking for you now. And they're hunting you down in your own town. They're trying to chase you out, and who knows what you've done now. Yeah, you look a little thin, I bet you run quick. Reach down to block 26. They'd never go for it. Hold your breath for the countdown, yeah, it starts now. I'll tell you when to let go of it. Let go. How could you walk away from me after all of what we said we'd be? Broken beyond repair. I'm the bird around your neck. You go act like you don't know my name. How dare you cast your spell on me? You've been careful not to set me free. I would never turn you down or try and shut you out. Take me back to when I once was your brain.
Chris Reardon, Tuesday night, reach on air.
All right, oh, gorgeous ones. Let's do phobias today. Do you have a phobia? What is your phobia, boys and girls? Because apparently the UK's most common phobia has been revealed. Do you want to take a guess to what you think it might be? Eh? Lots of us have a fear of something, whether it be spiders, the dark, or needles. Phone lines open now if you want to call in about your phobia, gang.
Call in now, 020-8144-3477.
All right, that's a phone number. Have you got a phobia? Tell me about something that's a little bit scary to you. Probably I am. I would imagine I'm a little bit scary, although maybe not as much as if you ever meet Dan Woodhouse. Now, that is a very scary experience, especially once the crisp bags start coming out. He does like a bag of crisps when he's out, does that Dan Woodhouse, as noted when he turns up at the karaoke or drag queen bingo. Anyway, evening to Peter Lake. Welcome along to Peter Lake this evening. Welcome along, Peter. Dan says, Vera, what really is voodoo? Is it really all about pins and mannequins and you have a tiff or something like that? Mannequins of people who you have a tiff. Don't be asking Vera what voodoo is. She may want to give you an example, Dan. Do you have a voodoo phobia? That's the thing. She does voodoo. Hello to the Daily One. Evening to the Daily One this evening. Welcome along. Welcome along to the Daily One. Britain's top phobias. A survey by YouGov. Now, I used to do those. Anyone do those YouGov surveys? I used to do those. They stopped sending them to me. Perhaps they didn't like the answers. A survey by YouGov has revealed that of the 10 phobias asked about, almost a quarter of Brits said they have a phobia of... Can you guess what it is? What do you think is the world's worst phobia? Or the most, would you call it a popular phobia? Popular phobia? Dan's on the line now. Good evening, Dan.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Let's clear this up, right?
Yes.
It's already said to me, apparently, she doesn't know anything about voodoo, doesn't do it.
She does it. She's not going to tell you, is she? Why would she tell you if she did voodoo? The thing is, if something happens to you and you know she does voodoo, you're obviously going to blame her. So she keeps it quiet. It's all you've got. It's always the quiet ones, dear. Always the quiet ones, my love. Oh, I can't believe this. Do you know what someone's just accused me of, Dan? Are you having a fling with the Virgin Media man, you dirty devil? Did he give you his number to see if... give you his number to were you like same time next?
Did he give you your number at the same time?
I don't know what that second sentence is. Now, as I've said before, and I'm begging you now, boys and girls, I'm on my knees, and it's not often now that I go on my knees. It really isn't, only at church. I'm on my knees begging you to check your messages before you push that send button. Don't be using predictive texting. It don't work. Am I having a fling with the Virgin Media man? No, not the Virgin Media man. However, there was a bloke who came and dug a little bit of a trench to put the new cable in. He was very nice. If you'd like to see a picture of him, just let me know and I'll send it on to you. Thank you very much. Did we say good evening to Peter Lake? We did. Did you know you sent that message 3 times, Peter? Is that strange? I don't know why that is. Say hello to your mum for me. Carry on, Dan.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, is this a long conversation? Can I just say, Dan, I've got no mince with me tonight. So
You've
don't
got
no mince, which I'm concerned about now that you're on the phone.
No mince.
No mince. I've got no mince. I meant to go to Aldi, but yeah.
That's bad luck, isn't it?
Yeah. Hi, Chris Reardon. Carry on.
Yeah. You're going mad already. Not for the first time. Right, so let's discuss then asexualness.
No. We're discussing phobias at the moment.
Oh dear, that's not me.
What are you? Have you gone deaf or something? Did you hear what I said? Where would you like to call in about your phobias? And the first thing you've done is come on and try and change the subject. At least start with the phobias and then try and turn it around, and then I can cut you off later rather than earlier.
Oh right, right. Phobias, nothing to do with me whatsoever. I know nothing about phobias.
Well, you must have a phobia of some sort. Well, all right, let me put it another way. What are you scared of? Probably Vera's voodoo dolls, I would imagine.
Of things like just letting myself down and.
No, that's not a phobia, darling. That's not a phobia.
Not a phobia sense. I know, but it's still something I'm scared of in life. The only thing I'm scared of, really.
Right, there must be something you're scared of. So you're not scared of spiders?
No.
Scorpions?
No.
Snakes?
Yeah.
Voodoo dolls?
I'm scared of the order Lepidoptera.
Pardon?
As in moth, butterfly, and that other thing that go back.
Oh, you're scared of moths?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything with wings, basically.
Anything with wings?
In an appropriate place.
No. Well, that's not going to do you very well if you want to go to heaven, is it? It's full of people with wings up there, known as angels.
Yes.
What are you going to do? Please don't come near me, angel. You know. I can't believe my sister's calling in here. Can you believe my sister's calling in? Shall we see what she's got to say? Can I help you, sis? Can I help you?
No, good. It was very good.
Well, we're on air at the moment, Shao.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, don't apologise to me. Apologise to the billions of listeners and viewers all over the world that you have now interrupted.
No, it's all right, Sharon. Apologies are not necessary.
Because
Why did you answer?
because
didn't.
you, because it's you.
Oh, it was so good.
If it's you or Gary or Tracy or Jimmy, you will get the phone answered. And you're the only ones. Yes?
Tell your listeners to go and watch ABBA,
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie. Very good.
They've
All
only
the
got-
little extra bits you get.
They've only got one more day to watch that, haven't they? When is it?
Just go and see it.
When is it on? It was only on for 2 days.
19th, 17th and 19th.
Well, today is the 19th, so that's it. Thank you. Bye-bye, sis.
Oh.
Bye, love. Love you. Oh, shout. Hello? Oh, cow hung up. She did you hear that, Dan? She hung up on me. How rude is that?
Yeah, well, I did say you don't, Sharon. You don't have to apologise, love. It's all right.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Dan. How lovely to be. It's nice of you to be so understanding. Carry on.
Yeah, and if anything, we should have had a three-way conversation,
Yes.
which I wouldn't have minded at all.
Have you ever had a three-way?
Well, depends who it was with, basically. But
Answer to that, I think, is no one, Dan, isn't it?
well, no, I mean, let's face it. I mean, I can be a very good flirt.
Can you really? And
I've flirted with so many girls over the years.
Sorry, what's that got to do with phobias? I should do it. I should do it like on LBC. As soon as people start going off on a tangent, just come off.
I jumped forward a bit, didn't I?
Yes, you have jumped forward a bit. Carry on, dear. Phobias. What do you think?
So,
What do you think is the world's? I don't know if you would say popular. The world's most phobia. What do you think it is? Almost a quarter of the people have got this phobia. What is it?
well, it's got to be arachnophobia, I suppose.
You think it's
Or,
spiders? Yeah.
Oh, it could be that new one called anarachnophobia. That's fear of train spotters.
That's fear of what?
Fear of train spotters. Anarachnophobia.
Anarachnophobia.
Yeah.
Are you a train spotter?
No, would never dare be in that sense. I may know quite a bit about it, but I would definitely not go that far.
Do you go down to platforms, writing down the numbers of trains as they come past?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I've seen it, and there can be a lot of some can be a lot of aggressive.
Aggressive?
And one of them, yeah,
What, aggressive
I've
train
seen it, yeah.
spotters?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that on YouTube. Yeah, and one of them even got so close to a train just to video it that it was actually it was in about a millimetre of knocking him over from the platform edge, and it was like, and they were.
You see, I'm not being funny, but when people are that stupid, I watch things like that, and I want the train to knock them over. These stupid people. Have you seen these stupid people that cross a level crossing with the lights flashing and the sounds going on? Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, blah, 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 and they run across.
Oh, the level crossings are classic.
The best ones are the ones with bikes, because they get through and then they see the train coming. They can't get the bike out of the way. Hope it gets run over by the train. Serves you right.
Bikers they always deserve it.
I'm trying to think of what other phobias. You see, a phobia is like an extreme fear or dislike of something. You must have a few more, Dan, there.
Not really very much.
What is that sucking noise I can hear going on?
That's me teething bottle.
Your what?
It's a new thing, you see. You get these. They do these energy drinks in teething bottles nowadays.
No.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're in your local news agent. Price 79 pence.
Energy drinks in teething bottles?
Yeah, because you get these unlike the normal Coca-Cola bottle where you have to put your mouth around the whole thing. This one, you just put your mouth around the actual very teeny nozzle, and you just knock it back a bit more slowly, so that it's not like if you go down too much and then you go all night long.
So it's not like a baby teat, like the thing they put on the top of a bottle of milk.
Oh no.
God, how much did we hate that as babies, drinking endless bottles of milk?
Yeah.
I just wanted a Coca-Cola. The thing is,
Yeah.
though, you say that with a teat, and you don't have to put your mouth around the hole. I quite like sucking the plastic bottle, don't you? You know, so it kind of goes in on itself a little bit like that thing that went down in the sea and collapsed on itself because of the extreme pressure on the water. I do the same with a plastic bottle of lemonade or Coca-Cola. I suck the bottle and it all crushes itself, and then when you let go of the suction, it opens out again.
Oh, very much so.
Have you got a phobia of Coca-Cola bottles? Is that what it is?
Oh, no, I love them as well. I mean, they
Do
always
you?
say, but for some reason, the glass cola bottles always, they're always better than the plastic ones.
That it certainly tastes better out of a glass bottle, and I don't think you'd do it, but I wouldn't recommend you try and suck that and crush it, because you'd end up with a little piece of glass in your mouth. It could be very dangerous. Although, if you wanted to do it, Dan, it would make quite a good YouTube video.
Oh, it wasn't it would, Chris? All right.
You could get a lot of viewers for that. What's that noise? What's that noise?
That's Mum.
Oh, hello, Mum. Hello, Mum. Can she hear
Yeah.
me?
Hello,
Hello, Mum.
I've got the headset. Chris Reardon says hello, Mum.
Is she come to make your bed? Tuck you up?
She,
I want to be tucked up.
She uses a staple gun.
Does she?
Yeah.
What, to do the bed?
Yeah, just to get me into bed.
Yeah. Are you being tied up as well?
Oh.
Oh.
I
DJ
bet
Dave
you-
Squires is here. He's on at 11 o'clock. He's got a fear of dentophobia. I'm not good with dentists. Do you go to the dentist, Dan?
Yeah, I'm booked in for this Friday morning.
Oh, are you?
apparently.
Do you go twice a year or what?
I think I've been about 3 times this year.
Oh, why? Have you got problems? Teeth falling out? New dentures? What is it?
Yeah, there's this one, There's one, that one there's been a bit like, on and off.
What?
You know,
Painful?
like
Loose? What?
Yeah,
Brown?
been a bit painful.
Oh,
this
is it?
year. So that one will probably have to come out. I'll probably end up like one of those blokes. Where was it? Was it the Gallagher brothers? The teeth just went.
Well, if your teeth are going, that you're not looking after them properly, are you? Oh, thank God for that. Mark Bowles is here. I thought for a moment he wasn't going to come along this evening. I'm so glad to see you've come, Mark. I really have. Carry on.
Okay, hello, Mark.
Oh, we are. Question for you, Dan. Rob says, ask Dan, have you ever been swept off your feet by a train while on the platform? Buh, buh. Chris Reardon, London Weekend Television. Sorry?
No, because I've always.
Sorry, do you mind? Do you mind, Dan? I just feel the need to play this.
Oh.
Thanks, Dan. Carry on.
Could you play the other London Weekend, the river one, when it was just London Weekend?
Well, I don't usually do requests, as you well know.
This is just an ident.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's still a request. You've asked me to do something,
Yeah.
Mind you, to be fair, you have asked rather than demanded. I can't stand people demanding things. There's been a few people like that along the years. People that demand things rather than, ask. It's just a demand. A demand. I don't like that. And as it was kind of a light request, I'll play it for you. There you go, Dan. Has that made you
Yeah.
feel better?
That was Mark II version, wasn't it?
Mark II version? Can't
Yeah.
remember, love. I don't like to go into it too much.
Because Mark I is just plain London Weekend, isn't it? And that's
Does it?
Mark II is
Oh.
Weekend Television.
Oh, I think we might have made an error tonight. Apparently, my post says 10:02 instead of 9:02. Oh, dear. That's why Mark wasn't here at 9:02. Sorry, Mark. There's an error somewhere. Where did you see that, please, Mark? Is that on Faceache? Oh, I must check that immediately. We made an error tonight. It's very kind of Jason to notice that we are almost now up to 2,000 subscribers. Isn't that fantastic?
Oh,
2,000
so good,
subscribers. Well, 2,000 million subscribers. Oh, I see what you mean, Mark. I see what you mean now. I found it now. There we are. Sorry, carry on.
Perhaps I should have to have the cooking channel and when if I get up to 2,000 subscribers, because there's no cooking on television now, just none of it.
Well, thank God for that. Crap
Yeah,
television. Crap television. Just people. I mean, how many ways can you make a steak and kidney pie? I'm sick of it. And they never do normal stuff, do they?
Well,
It's not like
it's the presentation that counts.
the presentation is crap. It's all fake, fake. That bake-off. Oh, if you could just squeeze the icing a little bit more that way, it'd be my. Nah, I ain't got time for cooking programs. Cooking programs were good years ago when we had the Galloping Gourmet. Now, he
Graham
was
Kerr.
funny. He was very, very funny. Who is it? Chris Reardon.
I remember he once said so about why should a Scotsman be placed on a higher pedestal, so we can look up and see what's up his kilt.
I loved the Galloping Gourmet, but all this stuff that's on there, no, can't stand it. Baker bread and all the bake this and cook this. Crap television.
Yeah.
Carry on, dear.
And of course Hudson and Halls, as we mentioned earlier.
Hudson and Halls, two gay blokes, two old go. I think they both died now. They were quite funny. If you're going to put comedy into it, but it's got to be comedy that's funny, not woke comedy, because we're not interested. That's for the millennials who don't laugh at anything. Funnily enough, I was watching this American thing today, or some American comedian, and he was very funny. He said, it's funny how it's all turned around now. Years ago, when I was young, and a lot of people listening and watching the show today, I'm sure Dave Squires would say the same, actually. When we were young, we would go out and have a really good time, right? And if you went somewhere where there were old people, like a cruise ship or, a dinner and dance, everyone would be there sort of fairly sensible, fairly miserable, not looking like they are having a good time. The whole thing has turned around now. You go out to something where there's a lot of old people, and me and Vera went. Me and Vera went to the O2 in Shepherd's Bush to watch Lee John's Imagination, full of people around our age. A Barry Manilow concert. Let me tell you, there's very few youngsters there. It's full of older ladies, a few older men like myself, and we're up there. We're waving our hands in the air, mate. We're dancing. You have all these soul weekenders at Butlins and places like that. Again, I suppose the average age would be something between 50 and 55, like that. And you're all up there getting drunk, having a good time, being a bit rowdy. And then you've got the youngsters today. There they are at college, or I don't think we should be drinking anything. That's very bad for your alcohol. What left-wing groups can we join today? Yeah, is there any protests going on this weekend that we can go to? And it's all very serious. And I think it's incredibly sad our youngsters don't seem to want to go out and have a good time anymore. They're so bleeding boring.
Yeah.
True, innit?
It comes to something when it's us oldies who could actually have it better than what they can.
Well, I've seen you having a good night. I've seen you having a good night. Jumping up from the chair at drag queen bingo and dancing around the pub. Yeah. Everyone's sort of backing away a little bit. Sorry?
Last time I was at the bingo, you would have seen me actually win that, have to have a share out of the last house. Yeah. And you would have seen me actually doing that arm swinging thing. It's I don't know what you call it. It's like this, like...
A windmill? Are you being a windmill?
Yeah. As I run to the stage, one arm's going the other way, the other going the other way. And then I'm up there going,
so I'm having trouble with my sound. There's some really strange noises coming through my speakers at the moment.
Is there?
Carry on.
Oh, are they gone now?
Yeah, it stopped.
No.
Is that funny?
Oh.
It was only while you were on the phone for a moment there. Anyway, carry on, dear.
Okay. So, did we get to the
Sorry?
Did we get to
Please don't hurt me. What?
Did we get to the asexual thing?
To the asexual thing?
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if we want to really do that thing on here, really, to be honest.
Well, I just like
might be a little bit over the line. I don't know if you can talk sensibly about that and not go over the line, lovey. I try not to go over the line.
I know you do, but that's when it gets a bit too worrying, because I'm sitting here thinking, oh God, is that gonna? Can I say that? Is he going to be all right about that?
Exactly, yes, and so you should do. This is a family. We got Catholics listening to this programme. Shania's just turned up, a little bit late this evening, but it's understandable. Shania's there on the Isle of Wight. Many apologies for the lateness. She was being a very important person at a church meeting. There you go. She's getting closer and closer. When you go to a church meeting like that, there's a big table, Dan, if I can just explain this to you.
Yeah.
And the priest, who's the main man, in charge, he sits at the top. And then you get committee members, generally people who think they're more important than they really are. Right?
Oh,
but Shania
yeah.
is actually important. She doesn't think she is. She is important. And gradually, over the last couple of years, her position on the table has been moving closer and closer to the priest. I think she's now sitting next to him, which you don't get any better than that, really. It's either the next position from the priest is either next to him or at the opposite end of the table. You don't want to be anywhere in between, because that means you think you're important and you're actually a nobody.
Yeah, no, I've encountered a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Who think they're important and they're not, and then the ones who are not important actually are.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. Everyone's the opposite to what they should be.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
Poor Mark Bowles is very upset about my muck-up tonight. My muck-up, which said 10:02 instead of 9:02. It says, I've missed your face for an hour. Well, don't worry about it, Mark. You'll be sitting on it soon enough, my darling. Jason says, Chris must have a phobia of Dan's calls, especially if he hasn't got any mints. Well, this is the thing. I don't know how I'm coping with this call today, especially as I've got no mints tonight, Dan Woodhouse. Haven't you got a funny laugh? Have you ever been told that?
I've got a flabby ass. What?
Not a flabby arse. I said a funny laugh.
Oh, have I got a funny laugh?
Yeah. It's just a bit weird. A bit worrying,
But I thought you said this was a family show, and then which the kids can stay up late for, and then you're talking about bloody sitting on his face or what have
But
you.
they would just think that's funny. They wouldn't get that. The fact that you've now pointed it out has now indicated what it is.
Oh God.
There's ways of saying things, and intelligent people know how to do it. I can understand how you don't.
Oh, I see. Well, I see what you mean.
But
You probably know them people, your people better than I do, obviously.
of course, I know my people better than you do, darling.
Yeah.
One of which I hope to get to know very well soon. His name is Mark Bowles. Still waiting, but there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
his life is a little bit better at the moment. I won't say why, but his life is a bit better, and I'm very pleased about that. I mean, obviously, it would be a lot better if he was sitting there beside me co-hosting this program. But no, probably he wouldn't want to do that. I would imagine Mark wouldn't want to co-host the program. He'd be downstairs, getting a nice meal ready for us when we finished, and we could sit there cuddling up on the settee, watching an episode of I don't know what am I watching at the moment. Actually, I wrote it down. Oh yes, Channel 5 player. Don't know what that's called. The Channel 5 player. 15 Days to Murder. That's a good thing to watch, everyone. I meant to mention that this morning. 15 Days to Murder, which is about someone's died and there's a house and all the brothers and sisters are fighting over the house and the land and everything else. Yeah, very good. Have you watched that yet, Dan? Maybe a little bit too complicated for you, perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps the cartoon channel.
If there's no funnies in it, then is there no like jokes or whatever?
Well, you say that. You say there's no funnies in it. Sometimes I start laughing, depending on how a particular person's been killed in a film. I find great amusement in that. I find amusement in most things, much to the upset of a lot of people, to be honest. I do find amusement in most things. Can you believe that Jason has just asked for a request? I don't think so, Jason. We don't do requests on this programme, as you well know, dear. As you well know.
Jason, no.
Carry on.
No.
Have you finished?
Oh, I think...
Let me see if there's any more messages for you here.
Okay, just go through them. If you've got any questions, speak now or hold your peace.
Or, Dan, I wouldn't ask them if they've got any questions for you. You have opened a can of worms there. You've just
Yeah,
opened. That was a very big mistake of yours, because
I
the
was just
questions
doing-
will come flooding. They really will.
You think
Sorry?
I didn't know I was that popular. I was just thinking it was like, just, you know, if I had anything to say about me, just get it over and done with quick, and then I can just.
I would imagine if you were with anyone, they'd want to get it over and done with as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no.
thanks for calling tonight,
Anyway,
Dan. A great phone
see
call.
you. Okay, I'll see
You've-
you next week.
You've
then.
given us
Thank
great
you.
amusement. Thank you, Dan. Bye-bye now.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dan in Romford for you this evening, gang. Thank you very much, Dan. You can call in if you want to. There is a number open.
Call in now. 020-8144-3477.
And we're doing phobias tonight. Darren has a wasp phobia. They creep me out big time. Have you not got... You need to get a death bat, Darren. Actually, do you know, I think you can get them from the pound shop for a couple of pounds. They're like a tennis racket, but it's all metal. There's a little button. You put a battery in, you push the button, and electrical voltage goes across the bat. If any insect comes towards you, right, you just whack it with this bat. Okay, and it electrocutes, and it's a lovely smell, burning wasps. I love the smell of a burning dead wasp, or those horrible great big black flies. They're horrible, aren't they? Huge black things will want to land on a piece of cake, spit all over it, and then eat it all up, and probably poo on it as well. Not with a death bat. You need a death bat, Darren. You'll probably get on Amazon. I would imagine they're about £5 or £10 on Amazon. I've got one downstairs. Listen, do not be tempted to... I'm serious here. Don't be tempted to put your hand on the bat just to see how powerful the electricity is. You wish you hadn't. It's an effort. And don't be stupid and start doing it to cats and things like that. Reserved for wasps and flies. I don't know how well they would do on a spider. Don't know. Has anyone tried a death bat on a spider as a matter of interest? Gnats, a little bit too small. They go for the holes. Peter Lake loves the shirt. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Mick Davenport has a request by Daniel. No requests, Mick. Mick, cooking programs bore me. I don't watch them, Mick. And what's that one on Channel 4? You know where 3 or 4 people go round to someone's house, right? They cook them a meal, and then the people who have just eaten the meal have the opportunity to slag it off. How can anyone sit there and watch that sort of thing? Awful. I'll do some more of your messages in a moment. Meanwhile, let's have another song, boys and girls. And...
I got an ache inside of me. It's a deep hole where I bleed. Oh, can I seal it? You're like an ocean without land. Not a single grain of sand. I'm drifting on it. So cold yet warm. When you hold me, when you close. I know, I'm a lost case, I'm a mess. But everything feels a little bit lighter with you. Something's letting me heal. You're making it brighter, right through the gray.
Welcome back, gang. Don't forget there's a phone number. If you want to call in, here's the number.
Call in now. 020-8144-3477.
All right, my darlings. Once again, that number 020-8144-3477. If you'd like to call in, it'd be wonderful to hear from you this evening. LaBelle's there in New York. Good evening to LaBelle. Thanks for joining us there, LaBelle. If you're on Reach on Air, you would have just heard our wonderful Dusty Springfield singing for you. 020-8144-3477 here. It's the Tuesday night show live from the Mirable Studios in Royal Berkshire here at Reach on Air. Nick Ingles there as well. He's sending a message. Nick, I work with Nick at Central. Good evening, Nick.
Reach on air.
There we are. And who's on the phone now, please?
Well, you would never guess it, but it's Nick Ingle.
Oh, it is you, Nick. You're on the phone as well. Oh, I must save your number so that I know it's you in future. Good evening, Nick. I've got to tell you, Nick's one of the managers at Central Station. He was recently elevated, boys and girls. We do like an elevation, don't you? We like an elevator. We could do with an elevator in that bleating pub. Jesus, those stairs. They're so steep. Poor old guy going up and down, dragging that big old carcass up and down that stairs. I don't know how he does it. Mind you, I don't know how you do it, to be honest, Nick.
Outrageous.
You got any phobias?
Phobias, yeah. I'm scared of you.
Little old me, what can I possibly do to frighten you?
I can just never cook enough chips for you.
Oh, well, certain people don't do enough chips. No names are mentioned, my darling.
No, absolutely.
No names are mentioned. You know, or it could be a couple of people, actually, but I'm not saying. Carry on.
You do know that we had some people in last week for pies, didn't you? We had pie and mash night on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And one of them, I've just watched a car crash into a post. That was funny.
Oh, where's that? What, outside your house?
At my house, you just drove.
Oh,
straight
and you
into
haven't
that
got a
post.
camera running. You would have got thousands of views on that. Here, can I just say, someone's just told me I'm getting ads on my YouTube now. What, on the live one?
I haven't seen ads.
I don't think we've had that before. Yeah, Mick says he's seen ads. Is anyone else seeing ads?
Maybe you picked up the ones that Russel Brand's lost.
Well, I haven't got any sort of background like that, I'm afraid. He's a
Really?
horrible. I've never liked
Million a year, apparently. Million a year.
a million a year. What, £1 million a year from YouTube?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know how much I get a
Apparently.
year from YouTube? I can tell. I got a little email yesterday. I wonder if it's still there. If it's still there, I'll read it to you. I might have deleted it now.
£3.50? I don't know. But
It might be in. Oh, it's going to be in bin, in it. There's so much of it in bin. Hang on. Will I find that? No, I can't find it now. Looks like it's gone. It's way, way down. I get a lot of emails. Do you get a lot of emails?
I do. A lot of
Awful
junk.
lot of emails. Anyway, it basically says.
Apparently there's a potion I can take to give me a penis like an African.
Why would you want one of those?
I don't know.
This is a
Bit of
family.
colour for a start,
This is a
wouldn't it?
family program. Please don't use information like that, dear.
Oh,
Now you've
it's only
upset all my
penis.
listeners. They thought you was a nice person, and now you've upset
I
them
am.
all, dear. It's all a show.
thing
Give them
is-
what they want. They don't need to know the gritty details. Anyway, so this email, it says, click here to see your. Is it analytics? Is that it? Analytics.
your analytics, yes.
And it tells you, you've got an extra 3 subscribers this month and that sort of thing. And this month you have earned £2.47. I mean, the
Oh,
money's
one far
rolling
then.
in here, dear. It's rolling in, mate. Now and again,
£3.50, one far away then.
now and again, you get a little tip.
I think
Now
she
and
lives
again,
2 doors down. Analytics, I'm sure she lives 2 doors down. I'm sure she does.
£2.47. Now and again, you get a tip. And if there was a tip that had appeared this month at some point on YouTube, that would be in there as well. So as you can see from that, no tips.
No chips. Oh, well. We did our pie and mash night on
Pie and mash,
Saturday
yeah,
night.
yeah.
And one of them was late, and they turned up and they came to me and they said, our latecomer's just arrived. He's the vegetarian. And we said, well, we didn't know there was a vegetarian because it was a chicken pie and mash night.
Right.
And he turned around and said, "Are we all right with chicken?" I said, "Well, you told me he's a vegetarian." "Yes, well, he's chicken." "Well, he's not a vegetarian." "Oh, no, he is."
Oh,
He's
you
a
can't be
vegetarian,
serious.
But vegetarians eat chicken, apparently.
No. You don't eat anything with a face, basically.
Anything that lived.
Anything that's got a face. You know, human, animal, fish, lobster. They've all got faces, dear.
They have.
They've all got faces. Well,
have.
so vegetarian, we don't eat anything with a face.
Anyway, we did in vegetarian sausages instead. So we had sausage and mash instead of pie and mash.
Your vegetarian sausages are nice. What are they? The Linda McCartney ones?
No, they are. If I'm honest with you, they're Booker's Cash and Carry own brand.
Oh, well, they're
I think
fine.
they're called Chef's Larder. Chef's
Oh,
Larder
yes, I've heard of them,
vegetarian
yeah.
sausages. They're very good.
I've heard of them.
They're very, very good.
They're very nice, yeah. Anyway, dear,
Well,
where are we
We have
now?
to get you fed, don't we?
Yeah, it's very kind of you, dear. You know,
Then we do.
I like it when you're cooking. I get a nice, decent sized chips, and then other people do chips as well. There, darling. Phobias. Come on, give me some phobias. Have you got?
Snakes,
Have you
mate.
got a
I can't do
phobia?
snakes. I can't do snakes.
Snakes. Oh, did you see?
Snake.
There was a story on the news tonight about a bloke with a snake. He
Found it in a park.
No, in his bleeding conservatory.
Oh,
Now I'm a
No.
bit. If Ross packs out, I don't think Ross is with us tonight. He's one of the presenters here on Reach On. He's very good, and he's very like me. He's like a straight version of me. He's exactly the same as me, right? And we get on like a house on fire. Never actually met him though, but we get on really well. And he's got a conservatory. I bet if he hears this tomorrow, he'll search that conservatory to see if there's any snakes hanging around in there, dear.
no, I'd have to move out. I can't deal with snakes. Mate.
Well,
I can't
apparently
deal with snakes.
this bloke saw this snake at the corner of his eye, and I think it lunged at him to bite.
Oh,
But he just managed to
even
get out of the
worse.
way in time, and he called someone, and then they saw you saw pictures of the snake, not a video, pictures of the snake, right? Well, this thing is like a leg. It's like a bloody leg coming in the window. It's so thick, blimey, really thick.
Oh, we've nearly gone round full circle to back
Yeah,
to my emails, haven't we? But
exactly.
no, I can't.
What? What?
Gone back to my junk emails, haven't we, about Africans?
Yeah,
But
stop
no,
that now.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
This
deal
thing
with
was
snakes,
really
darling.
thick, and they called a bloke in, and he come out with like a sack, and he handled it though, like one hand on its head, which is really a big head, big horrible things, snakes. I think it
no.
was a python. Now, do you die from a python bite, or are they
No,
not?
no, they constrict. No, pythons constrict.
Oh,
They're
well,
not venomous.
why would it have tried to bite him then?
So it could get hold of him and constrict him.
I like that Disney song from the Jungle Book. Trust in me. Da, 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 da,
Yeah, the little eyes going around in
Trust in
circles.
me. Close your eyes. Da, da. I wonder if that's on our karaoke system.
Well,
I
you have
must
to do
look.
it on Friday night, won't you?
Yeah. Mark, I can't believe you got that phobia, Mark. Wow. I haven't got that phobia. Have you really got that phobia, Mark? Oh, that's disappointing. Carry
What
on.
phobias you got?
No, I can't
Shit.
read it out. Can't read it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, can't read it out, love. Private messages between me and Mark
Oh,
Bowles.
okay,
People
okay.
listening to the show often wonder what the messages actually say, but I don't dare read them out, dear.
Really?
Yeah, straight lad who lives in Somerset. I'm going to turn up one day in a pub that he drinks in. I'm just going to turn
In
up.
Somerset?
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised he's calling in. They've been flooded out this
Oh,
week,
it's very-
haven't they? Bless
very
them.
me.
Somerset, it's been washed away.
Very me. Grey tracky looks a bit mean. Very me. Regular
Marvellous.
viewer to the show. Thank
Right
you.
up your Strasse.
Right up. That's it. Right up my street. Sorry. Yeah. Carry on. Buh, buh. Jason says my missus tries to construct my python. What are you doing? Keeping snakes there, Jason? And they're funny people. Some funny pets they've got, and they.
Are they
Why-
supposed to be kept in a vivarium? Isn't that where you're supposed to keep them? Not down your
I
trackies.
don't know. Why? Why would you want to keep a snake or a tarantula or a scorpion? Why? Oh, why would you want to keep one of those?
Weird.
Now, the funny thing is, I do have a little soft spot for bearded lizards. I think they're quite cute. No, I do. I would have a bearded lizard. You know, once they get used to them, they come up and they climb
Yeah.
on top of you and they sit on your shoulder. There's one bloke, it's not a bearded lizard. It's a big thing. I mean, this
What,
this
like
thing
an
is.
iguana?
It could be. There's a bloke on TikTok, and it seriously is his friend, right? He can be sitting somewhere, and this iguana comes along, climbs up his leg, right? Climbs up his body, and sits on his shoulder next to him.
Good Lord.
And sometimes he might be eating a banana, and they will literally share the banana, the two of them.
Oh,
And it's such a
Oh.
cute thing. Not for you, bearded lizard?
no, not really.
Oh,
They're not very cuddly, are they?
no. Some people's nans have got beards, haven't they?
Yeah.
Have you
my nan
noticed
had a
that?
beard. We
Maybe-
were going to put her in a circus, but she
Maybe
died.
there's a lot of nans out there who actually want to be trans and they have never really never really been able to say it properly, which they can
Well,
now do in this day and age.
That would be tomorrow, Sweet Wednesday,
Yeah.
the second one of the month at
Oh, is it?
Central Station. Yeah.
Bearded lizards or trans?
No, trans.
Oh, trans bearded lizards.
Trans bearded lizard.
Yeah, LaBelle, she's a very famous drag queen in New York, regular viewer to the show, and I'm going to meet her one day. I told her the way I will meet her, she won't have a clue. I'll just turn up at one of her venues. In would a Union Jack jacket be all right, LaBelle, if I wear something like that? Would that be
I'm sure it
acceptable,
would.
or would that be offensive to Americans if I turned up at one of your...
We could do half and
Shows.
half, couldn't you? You could have half Stars and Stripes and half Union Jack.
What a good idea. You're just full of good ideas. Not only do you do
me?
large portions of chips, unlike the others, not only do you do the large portions of chips, unlike the others, but you also come out with the occasional good idea. I've got a good idea for you.
Have you?
I've got a really good idea to you. Is there a ladder anywhere? Could you climb up and clear out the bloody filter for the air conditioning in the pub? I've only been asking for 2 years. It's so hot in. I nearly fell asleep. Not last Saturday, the Saturday before. It was awful.
I think we might have to have the fire on this week. It's going to be a bit chillier, I think.
Oh,
on Friday.
don't tell Duncan, the owner.
I know. He'll get very upset.
Yeah, upset on that one. Anyway, LaBelle says the same reason people want to keep cats and dogs, snakes and other things can be domesticated.
No,
You
they
see?
can't.
Well, I just told you
Can't
that.
domesticate a snake.
Yeah, but you seem to be able to domesticate a iguana and a bearded lizard. How about a crocodile? Could you keep a crocodile as a pet?
No, depends
sorry.
how hungry it is, I suppose.
No, Mark, that will be me doing that, darling. That'll be me doing that, not you. Carry on, Ian.
No, I'm not sure I'd want a crocodile as a pet. They're not not cuddly.
Are they not?
No, I don't think so. They're
But
a bit,
you don't
they're
know.
reptiles, so they're cold for a start.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want someone cold next to you. I mean, of course, that often happens, You might have someone...
It has happened before.
Well, has it happened to you?
Once, yeah.
Oh, no. What, they died?
Mm.
Ooh.
That was very, 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 very disconcerting. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to stop joking for a moment. Right, I'm just going to stop joking for a moment. I can't imagine that. I mean, it must happen all the time. Eventually, if you're with someone forever and ever and ever, one day one of you is going to wake up and the other one's gone.
Not there, yeah. Well, they're there,
Well,
but they're not there.
Oh my God, I can't. Can you tell me what that was like? And I'm not joking here. I'm not going to joke about this at all. How was it when it was? So you woke up, and what? You said hello,
well,
and no one answered.
Oh, no, I went and made a cup of tea, actually, and it wasn't until the cup of tea went cold I realised they hadn't woken up, yeah.
What happens
Yes,
then?
not-
So you call an ambulance?
But that's all you can do. That's all you can do. You bring in the relevant bodies to deal with the situation. That's all you can do. And that's the last. Well, apart from going to view them, that's the last time you see them. Yeah.
God, do you know that's really quite creeped me out. That I know it's just a part of life.
I
but-
didn't mean to creep you out, but
No.
it's,
Do you know, it's funny you
it
say.
happens.
It's funny you say that, when you say that, you said hello to them and no one answered. Funnily enough, I often say hello to myself in the bedroom and no one answers either.
Well, but you need to go. You need to go and get that hearing test.
God, there's
That's why
probably.
you didn't hear yourself say hello. That's the.
I would imagine there's one or two people with us tonight who that exact same thing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just to to wake up and because let's be honest, that's how we want to go, isn't it? You want to be in your own bed, you want to go asleep one day and simply not wake up.
Absolutely. Who wants to sit in a hospital bed for months and months and months
terrible.
and just slowly wither away like
Terrible.
a dying plant that's not been watered? Who wants that?
Terrible. And my dad and my mum, they left this way in the hospital, but I'm sure they would rather have been like in bed, either with each other or on their own and go like that. My God. But then I suppose for like someone's mum and dad, for example, I suppose if it's one of them and they've been together with 30 or 40 years, when they wake up, it's not like a fear thing. That would be like a very upsetting, very, very sad, possibly the saddest moment ever of their lives, rather than a scary
my auntie and uncle
thing.
went within 3 weeks of each other. My uncle died and my auntie died 3 weeks later.
Oh, well, that was a broken heart then.
Almost certainly broken heart.
Yeah.
No, I think my parents will be the same. My parents have been married for 68 years, and so I would think they will be exactly the same.
How old are your parents now?
Dad's 91 and Mum's 87.
Well, they might get to the 75. What is that? Is that platinum? Anniversary?
No, platinum was their. What was their 60th? We had a big party for their 60th.
Diamond? Is that ruby?
Could have been diamond for 60.
Isn't diamond 50?
Oh, I can't remember that. I know my younger brother found out that if you contact Buckingham Palace, because the records don't show marriage, if you contact Buckingham Palace and let them know it's going to be their 60th, they got a lovely card from the Queen.
Right. I've just found it.
Which we had framed.
How lovely. Card from the Queen. Wow.
That was delightful. They were very, very chuffed with that. Probably the nicest present we've ever given them was a card from the Queen with a little tassel on it saying, "Congratulations on your 60th."
Oh, that's a lovely thing, isn't it? Yeah. I've just looked it up. Yeah. Apparently, there are 2 diamond anniversaries. One's at 60, so you're quite right with that, and the other's at 60. One at 60 and one at 75. There's actually 2 diamond anniversaries, and of course, the 50 would be the golden one, wouldn't it?
Well, we had the golden. That was still very active. I mean, Dad's quite an old man now, bless him. But he's a Korean veteran. I spent a day with him for the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean War in Whitehall in July, and we had a lovely day out with him. And he's one of a handful of Korean veterans left, which was very, very lovely. And gave him a chance to. He comes down every year to London to the Korean veterans meet. He's part of the Fusilier Regiment.
Yes.
And the Fusiliers' headquarters are in the Tower of London, so he comes down once a year for a dinner at the Tower of London. I usually take him to that.
Right.
And that's a fun thing to do. And he gets about. He walks with a stick, but he comes and he talks to them. And he's been to Boots and had his hearing aids sorted out because he's a bit deaf now, bless him. But they sit and have a dinner and they reminisce about what happened, the forgotten war, as they call it, the Korean War.
Yeah. No,
nobody remembers it.
Never really hear anyone talking about that, do you?
No, you never hear them talk about the Korean War, and it's sad. 70 years, and I think we lost the last fighter pilot, didn't we, from the Second World War a few weeks ago?
Oh yes, not long ago. Yeah.
And it can't be much longer before we start to lose the last of the Korean War veterans. So father was he was conscripted through national service, so he did his national service. And they sent him to Korea. Wow.
Has he ever been back there?
Yeah, he has twice. He's been across the border into the north twice at his own risk.
Is that right?
They'll take you across the border in a remote part of the country.
Is that the Koreans? The North Koreans take you over, don't they?
No, South Korea are the good guys. North Koreans are the bad guys. So
yeah. But if he's going into North Korea, they won't allow the South Korean guides in, presumably. It's a bit like
so they go over a part of the country where it's not a main road. So they sort of sneak across, have a bit of a look round, and then.
But do they sneak, or do people?
Yes.
Oh,
if
right.
They get caught, they'll be taken captive.
So the North Koreans don't know they're going over.
No.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not arranged. It's only arranged through the South Koreans.
I know a couple of my friends have actually been to North Korea. They're travellers. not caravan. You know, they like to go to different places. They like to go to unusual places. And they've been to North Korea. And,
Well, it's a very unusual place, that is for sure.
It is, but you can go on holiday there. And if you basically do what you're told, everything's fine. And you are looked after. You are looked after properly. But, you know, if they say, we don't want you to take a picture of that, then don't take a picture of it. Because if you do,
No, they get
you're
very
in some
upset.
sort of trouble. But they come across as, I think you usually have an army person with you who comes across as nice and happy and is smiling all the time. And if you want to know stuff, they know everything. Or they know everything, at least, that they want to tell you, if you see what I mean.
Absolutely.
And you go in a decent hotel and you'll be fed properly. And if you become ill, you'll be looked after, this, that, and the other. But if you start taking a mick and you do stuff that they don't want you to do, for example, go and take pictures of poverty or, you know, there's a big statue of the other leader before King...
Kim Jong-un's
Yeah,
father.
him. There's a big statue of him, and you can only take pictures of it from a certain angle that you're only allowed to take. You're not allowed to take pictures around the back of it. I don't know what the reason is, but that's it. Now, if I was going, I'd do what I was told. You know, I'm fairly good at sticking to rules. You know, going to the ABBA venue in London. Please don't take photos. I won't take photos. Yeah, you're at a Barry Manilow concert. Well, actually, you don't mind so much, but you're at certain concerts. You know, please don't video the concert, which is really difficult now because all the kids have got blooming cameras and all that. But I don't understand that, to be honest. You know, they say, please don't video bits of the concert, you know. What do they think's going to happen? You're going to upload that video to your Facebook and then people won't stream the music because they've got your copy. No, I don't think so, because the copies that people put up are always crap anyway. The camera's shaking like a good one. But me personally, I just wouldn't do it because I've been asked not to do it. Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. So on the 50th anniversary, my parents both went over there because the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh were both attending to celebrate at the governor's mansion for the embassy.
Yeah.
And they went out there for a week, maybe 10 days. And the ladies all went off on tours in the day, and the gents all went off to places like North Korea. Yeah. And they took my mother on a coach with a bunch of other ladies, and they got off the coach in this town. And at the side of the road was a big pile of cages full of cats and dogs, and my mother automatically assumed that the cages were representing their sort of equivalent to the RSPCA.
No.
So she took some money out and offered them a donation, and they asked which one she wanted, because, of course, over there, that's dinner.
Yeah.
And she was horrified when she realised that they asked her if they wanted them to kill the animal for them and which one she wanted for her dinner. At which point she withdrew her donation and got back on the bus.
Oh, God. You see, that horrifies me, you see, but it's no different. In my mind, this is no different to shooting a pig in the head. Or killing a chicken and eating it.
We're back to snakes. We're scared of snakes. They have no fear of cats and dogs. They see them as food.
No. That's what I mean. Food. If you're going to criticise the Chinese or anyone else like that for eating cats and dogs, my question to you is, what did you have Sunday?
I actually had nothing on Sunday. I was working. I had a tuna sandwich. But yes, I take your point. It could have been
lambs, chickens, cows, but it's exactly the same to me. So
that's our way of life.
If you're not eating animals, then feel free to say something. But to me, that's no different. And then people will they come across with their own arguments. You know, but chickens are bred to be eaten. Well, so are their cats. Yeah, it's no different. It's no different to me. You know, an animal is an animal, and that's it. But that's one of those things.
I'm not sure whether you have chips with that or how many chips you get.
Well, I'm happy to have my halloumi sticks and chips, as you know. Will you ever be cooking again?
I'll rough you up an omelette on Saturday, perhaps.
No, you're not, are you? Wow. Well, let me know if you're cooking. Are you cooking?
I'm working days Saturday,
are you?
So I could perhaps nip into the kitchen for you for 10 minutes and rustle you an omelette up, maybe.
He'd probably... I don't want to say a name. He'd probably do it. It's just a bit slow. You know, and like once I remember ordering something. It was about quarter to 7, and I think it was 7:20. But you know, and then you've got the chips next to you, and you're eating them, and it looks terrible. I hate eating food while I'm trying to work. I just think it
Absolutely.
looks bad. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you can sometimes sit down in a little seat behind that little box and have a quick bite of whatever, but you can't.
Chocolate.
I don't like to put the chips on the top, and I do it if it's really late. I want to be like finished eating by like 7:10, so then I can witter around and talk to people, and you know.
It's not like the old days, Christopher, where I used to make you a cup of tea and you have your omelette and you'd be downstairs
It's
by
just
7
not
o'clock.
the same. Can you not go back down the ladder again and just be the chef? You know? Now, don't get me wrong. I've no complaints about anyone's cooking in there. It's all lovely, but it's not you, is it, lovely? You know, it's a bit like you know, no one cooks as much as wonderful as your mum, did they? You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No one cooks like my mother.
Have you ever had a meal as good as your mum when the last one she cooks? Yeah, you know.
No, and I've eaten some very nice places.
How
as well.
lucky are you to still have your mum and dad at
I
your
know, isn't it
advancing
amazing?
years? You're
Isn't it
so
amazing?
lucky.
And
so
not just
lucky.
that, the fact that they're still together after all this time, you know,
Yeah.
60, nearly 70 years
Oh,
together.
yeah.
I mean, that's wholly unusual in today's
Yeah, because
society.
believe me, you really appreciate what what they did for you, the older you get. And if they die when you're a bit young, I don't think they see that appreciation which I've got for them now, and I can't show them.
You can't tell them.
You know.
Mike and the Mechanics, you're back
Yeah.
to that, aren't you?
Yeah.
You wish you'd told. On a final note, then, before I go, because I'm sure there's
at
a
last.
queue of
Sorry?
calls waiting to come. Our mutual friend will be. He might come and see us on Friday. Our anurag just might be with us.
Is he back off his
tomorrow.
holiday?
He'll be back off his holiday tomorrow,
Oh,
and so hopefully
wow.
on Friday night he'll be allowed to come and see us.
I'm so pleased. What
Me
can I
too.
do for him? Is there anything I can do for him?
I don't know. We perhaps ought to. If
Like a
he's come
welcoming-
in, I'll know, and if he does come, maybe we'll get him a little cake or something.
A cake?
Or,
Is
or
that a
something.
sort of-
I
is
think
that a
any-
thing,
anything's
is it,
better than the
after-
food where he's been on holiday. It's not very good.
Yeah, but is that a thing, like a cake on after a holiday like that? Is that?
I don't know.
Well,
but
it
what else
can
could
be.
you
It
do?
can be, can't it? It can be. What cake does he like? He might not like that sort of. He might not like sponge.
I think he'd be grateful for anything at the moment.
Yeah.
He's had such a tough time on
Yeah.
holiday for the last few weeks that.
Oh, really? Is he?
I think so. Yeah, certainly the last couple of weeks
Oh, they make it hard. The thing.
have been very tough. Very, very tough.
Oh.
So spoke to him today.
Is
so
that
it
what
looks
happens
like-
when the holidays come into the end? Generally, then. We
yeah,
don't know. How would we know?
I think I told you he went to one place on holiday and they moved him to somewhere else, and
Right.
and that's been very tough for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's been very tough for him.
Okay.
So hopefully we can cheer him up on Friday or maybe even Saturday night. We don't have to suffer the singing, of course, but
Well, it's one of those things, isn't it, lovey?
a little bit like a strangled cat. But and there we are back in North Korea.
Oh, oh, Nick. Pleasure to talk to you tonight. Please call in again.
too,
This
love.
call's been excellent.
I will do, love. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick. Bye-bye, love.
Cheerio. Bye bye.
There we are. There's one of our central station managers there. How fabulous is that, eh? What a great phone call. I know Jason agreed with that a great phone call, and Vera said that was a great phone call as well. Let's do something. I think we might have to close the phone line now, actually. What's the time? Yeah, we'll have to close it now. No more. I can't see where it is now. Where's the phone line gone? It's disappeared from my screen. Have I closed it anyway? Come on, where is you? 1 minute. There it is. Oh, right. There's that. And where's quit? Come on, quit. Close window. I can't quit it. How annoying. Anyway, if you ring now, you won't be answered. All right, I better do some of your messages, my darling, and we'll play another song. Shall we play another song first? No, let's do these. Rob says, I've started reading a book called 4,000 Weeks. It's one of those books that means something different from person to person, but the concept of the book is all about life. The hidden message in the book is basically saying that the average human lives until she is 76. which in turn equates to 4,000 weeks. Life is very short indeed when you say 4,000 weeks is the average age of a human. Do you know, that makes it sound really short, doesn't it? 4,000 weeks. Wow, 4,000 weeks. And Fran Green is recommending a TV series called Foundation. It's American science fiction streaming television series created by David S. Goyer and Josh Friedman for Apple TV+, loosely based on the... Oh, and then it stops. There's no more to that message, Fran, strangely enough. It stops on loosely based on the... And then the message stops for some reason. I don't know why, darling. But there we are. Sadly, I don't have Apple TV Plus. Actually, I don't have Netflix either, or Amazon Videos or anything like that. You see, I've mentioned before, I come from an age when all TV was free, and I feel really peeved about paying for anything anyway like that, you know. So there we are. Funnily enough, we talked about Channel 5 earlier, weren't we? There's a lot of stuff on Channel 5 to watch. As I mentioned earlier, me and my friend are watching at the moment on the Channel 5 player 15 Days to Murder. There's also a program on there I want to watch called Inheritance, and also one of the it's like an 24 hours in Casualty or something like that. I'm watching Ambulance at the moment. I'll probably watch. I think it's on tonight, isn't it? I'll probably watch tonight's episode actually when I finish the show. Right, I'll come back to your messages after one more song, boys and girls. We're going to play you another song here.
A regular tool, but some things you just don't realize. Even though they're happening right in front of your eyes, I'm not even sure just what went wrong.
that, gang.
Chris Reardon on Reach on Air.
Dave Squires is waiting to take you through in about 7 or 8 minutes' time after the 11 o'clock news here at Reach on Air. Okay, let's read some of your messages then. Alan Russell is joining us. Very late, Alan. Hello, Alan. Welcome along to the show, Alan. All right, my darling. Welcome along there. Apparently, ads are indeed being shown on my live stream now. Oh, that's new on me. I didn't do anything. And Mandy got them as well. How strange. Paul didn't get the ads. But then I realised I had not logged in. Oh, he's got premium, has he? Have you got premium, Paul? Do you pay for YouTube, do you? I know whenever I look on YouTube, it always says, do you want the premium experience? $9.99 a month. But you see, like I say, I am a bit tight. And I can't have all these, I don't like all these subscriptions going out. I bet there's some of you out there who spend £100, £200 a month in various subscriptions left, right and centre, don't you? And it's, what is the YouTube? Is it a tenner? I would imagine $9.99 or something like that, I suppose, wouldn't it be? Rob, ads keep coming up every 30 minutes. Does that mean you lose some of the show, though? How does that work? Does it pause the live stream so that when you come back, you're like 30 seconds behind? I mean, look. If I read you the time now, you should be about 20 seconds behind this, okay? Right, I'm going to read you the time. So it's 5 minutes and 20 seconds now to 11. Right, I'll tell you when it's exactly 11 o'clock to the second. Of course, you'll need a decent clock. All right, you'll need a radio-controlled clock. It's 5 minutes to 11, and that is now. 5 minutes to 11. My guess is if you're not getting ads, you'd be about 15 seconds out. If you're getting ads, I would imagine you're a little bit further behind that. What is the time? Oh, my God, we're running out of time here. I didn't realise the time. Oh, God. Right, it's nearly time to go. Then quickly, hello to Matt Martins. Hello to you. Lovely picture of your family on Facebook I saw the other day, Matt. Thank you very much. I'm just scrolling down really quickly there. Mandy had 2 bearded dragons. If they liked you, I can't see the rest of it. If I can't read them out. I'm going to run out of time here. If they liked you, why can't I drag that across there? Mandy, I can't see you properly, girl. Oh, God. There we are. Mandy, if they liked you, they would let you handle them. But if they didn't take to you, they would bite and draw blood. I know some people like that. Anyway, time to leave you on YouTube. Thanks very much for joining us. Another show for you from the Caravan next week here on YouTube. Right, thanks for listening. And here...